Absolutely. Let's look at maybe your top three sort of biohacking tools. And mine has been the Aura Ring, and there's a lot of studies now with Aura, what's happened to those people that have been infected with corona, and then what happens to their sleep data. I think the Aura Ring changed my life significantly, helped me with my sleep hygiene. Really, really important in terms of my transformation, in terms of health. I think the second probably would be something like the Core Sense HRV, measuring heart rate variability throughout the day and getting a morning readiness test, which I think is an incredible measurement in terms of how stressed you are, in terms of measuring the difference between your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system from an assessment point of view. And then from an intervention point of view, probably my blue blocking glasses or my infrared sauna has been really, it's just been so impactful. It's been a game changer on my numbers. Tell us about possibly your three top biohacking tools from an assessment or intervention point of view. Go for it.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I came into the biohacking part of this quite late in the sense that I already put in all the really good habits. But I will say then what the devices did for me were they were very affirmative for me. So as I started wearing a sleep tracking device, I was always like, I always thought I slept quite poorly because I wake up, quite a few times, but I'm getting every night over 2 hours of deep and REM sleep, which is very good. So that was like, oh, great. Like what I'm doing is working. That's awesome. I also put on the continuous glucose monitor for 2 weeks. That again affirmed, oh, wow, like all the food changes, all the food patterns I've now implemented and I stick to has given me excellent sort of glucose resistance, excellent glucose variability. And then some of the ones that have been very impactful, most recently is definitely been the BLUblox glasses. Because pre-pandemic, I was basically spending no time on screens in the evenings, like literally like close to like only an hour a week or something, because I was always going to a yoga class or a meditation class, or went climbing, or I did board games with my friends. So we were not, spending time in the blue light. So I didn't really have any issue with that. I was sleeping great, falling asleep great. And then we got locked in our homes. And then inevitably, I'm going to start watching more TV at night. And I noticed my sleep got worse. I was struggling to get to sleep. And I put on the glasses, and it's honestly like rather like instantaneous, the change. And the BLUblox is just such an incredible tool because it's very affordable. Like really, it's an affordable thing. It's not like a super expensive like hyperbaric chamber. It's going to set you back like $250,000 if you get one in your house. This is like a couple thousand at the most. And if you don't have prescription, it's even cheaper. But then one of the most powerful biohacking changes I ever made, and it's completely free, is the cold plunge. So I heard about cold plunging for a long time, and I tried it like 5-6 years ago, and it was a total failure because I was in Zurich and I put on like super cold water, and I was like, I'm not doing this. This is absolutely terrible. So I just didn't do it, right? But as I started to learn, okay, I have to be gentle with myself. You only start with like 30 seconds and you start building up. And, in Joburg here, many of us are privileged enough to have our pools in our house that basically get completely underutilized in the winter, right? It's like shut it down for 3-4 months. Actually, that's like a free cold plunge that we all can do. And the cold plunge has been just so amazing for me. I'm going to skip all the physiological stuff. It really was all in my mind. It's the most powerful mental tool I've ever used because it just shuts down that excuse machine in your brain, because that's what your brain is. It's just a little story excuse machine. It's going to be so cold. I have a meeting. I'm tired. This, that. And as you do more and more cold plunges, especially like I did, as soon as I started hearing all that, that's when I put it on to like max cold, because you just turn that voice off, and it creates such incredible resilience in your life. Because then when like all these sort of, hurdles come in your life, you're much more able to just take them in stride. They're not so like overwhelming, because you're like, yeah, this pool is like 10 degrees and I can walk in here, no problem. I have the courage.